Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to modify the retention on this sheath. Okay, for modifying retention and retention, we want to pay close attention to the contact points of whatever the blade or hawk or edged weapon is that we're, even a firearm, even a pistol. We're going to look at those points that make contact with the Kydex, okay? And we are going to secure them more than they are. Now, if you look in through this particular sheath, what we can see is that there are holes in this Kydex where there's not a good positive point of retention. Okay, so you can actually see, I don't know if you can see on the video, but you can see right through here. So we're going to tighten that up. What happens is we do a shake test. So if I shake this blade, okay, it should not fall. It should not fall out of the sheath. Okay, so I should be able to shake this vigorously, and that blade not lose retention. Okay, so to tighten up the retention here, we're going to do it in two parts. We're going to heat this rim up with a heat gun, and we're going to custom mold that, leaving these outward flaps or these dog ears into the design, into the actual front of the sheath. Because what that does is that keeps a hard edge from making contact with the grip and shearing it off or wearing it down over time. Okay, so it has a nice round area to make contact with when it pops in. So first step will be the front of the sheath. The second step will be the back of the sheath. And what we'll do is, because this particular blade has this finger groove, this bevel here, we're going to tighten this up so that when the blade goes into the sheath, it grabs that contour. Okay? Because the mouth of this will flex as this blade or whatever the implement is going in and out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to make that so that we have a nice positive retention point so that when it flexes, it grabs. Okay, so we take the heat gun and we heat it up just enough to make it pliable. Okay, what we don't want to do is burn or scar the Kydex. What you'll see is as I heat it up, the Kydex will start to open up. It'll start to become pliable. Once we get it to that point, I'm going to pinch down onto the retention points and push these dog ears out. Okay. Now this is going to be hot, so you may want to wear gloves. Kydex becomes pliable at 200 degrees. So as I start to shape and mold this with my fingers, I'm pinching into the retention points here, and I'm pushing these dog ears out. And what you'll see is it creates a nice little pocket that blade will fit right into. Okay. Now we've improved the front part. Okay, so we have a nice grab there. Okay. However, there's too much lateral wiggle. Again, you can see this. So next we'll tighten this up. Again, we'll use the heat gun. We'll use even heating strokes. Okay. If you heat Kydex too much, it will actually mar the Kydex. It'll begin to liquefy it. Okay, so what we want to do is heat it evenly just over the areas that we're heating, or that we're going to be bending. I don't want to heat all in here. I don't want to be heating along these lines because I'll deform the shape of the sheath. Okay, so I'm very careful, and the attachment I have here will help me do that. If you do not have an attachment, you could take a toilet paper roll, squeeze it down and put it into a mouth. You can use something to restrict the air coming out of your heat gun, but keep in mind that the heat gun will burn it, so make sure it's something that can handle the heat. So again, I'll take this and I'll begin to heat it. And I'm constantly moving the Kydex and the heat gun. Okay, now as I'm watching it, I'm seeing that it's pliable now. It's starting to move. Okay, blade goes back in. Again, I set the retention by pinching the retention points, and because I don't want this bubble, I'll just push that flat along the back of the blade, and I'll keep all of this in nice and tight. Okay, because I want it to mold and fit tightly against the blade. So I'm pushing in here, and I'm pinching on those retention points. Okay, and I'm going to constantly work this. I'm going to keep it moving because as the Kydex cools down, it'll begin to stiffen and become harder to work. Okay, so once I have it where I feel like it's good, I'll hold it, give it a couple of minutes. As the Kydex temperature will rapidly drop, so as that drops, I'll begin to loosen my tension off. Okay, and now we've got a good, solid retention on the blade, and no matter how hard I shake this, it's not coming out of the sheath. Okay? And that's how we set the retention on a sheath.